in, sending me messages on chat. I just floated around a message. And more importantly, I'll share my journey with Jyotish. Um, is English okay with everyone? You can, if English is not okay, you can write. अगर अंग्रेजी ठीक नहीं है आपके लिए, आप नहीं समझ सकते हैं, तो चैट पे लिख दीजिए नहीं संभव है समझना. If English is okay with everyone, you can give a thumbs up. Perfect, perfect. सही है. If you can start your videos, that will be great as well. But it's entirely your choice. Yeah. So I'll share my journey with Jyotish, when I started learning, how I learned, before I actually get into today's lecture, because it's very important. And I want to share this because all of you have a desire to learn Jyotish. So for the longest period of time, I wanted to learn Jyotish. I did loads of things. And then suddenly in 2014, there was a long weekend. I used to be in London at that point of time. There was a long weekend when I could not go anywhere. I was stuck at home, just like the lockdown right now. And I just Googled online. It was a 3-day long weekend. I Googled online and I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can learn Jyotish. And I started at, I think it was 10 in the night, and on a Friday, and Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 days were off. And by the time the weekend got over, I had gone through, I think I had finished one book, and I had read through like, maybe I had gone through around 70 or 80 videos. And I started seeing charts, right? So that was the beginning. And then, I always felt that there was a need for a guru to learn Jyotish further. And I kind of, kept searching for a guru. So I came back, and, more than anything else, from somewhere, I would hear whatever, Gurudev would share about Jyotish, and, other astrologers who would work with Gurudev. I would hear what he said. And that, then I felt that I had a guru now. So I felt blessed. So I did not, after that, I stopped looking for a guru. Yeah. So a few things. And then why I decided to do this, I think one thing that I will very clearly state before we even get into this, that I am still, Jyotish is such a vast field that even though I have been practicing, I have seen over maybe 500, 600 charts, and I've been practicing for the last 6 years, I still feel that there is a lot more to learn. And I'm also still in the learning journey. And it's very important in this science that we continue to keep learning. So two things that I feel are very, very important. One is to realize that that your journey in Jyotish, learning journey in Jyotish, never ends. Every chart is a new learning. Every moment you look at the planetary positions, it's a new learning. So keep learning, right? And the second thing, which is very, very important to realize, is to have a guru. Because eventually, any prediction, any learning is not happening through you. It is happening through the guru. Yeah. So these two things you have to always, always keep with you. This is something that I cherish and I strongly believe in. And anyone who's learning through me, I would just say that look at me as a medium, but eventually look at Gurudev as your Jyotish Guru also. And don't restrict learning. Keep learning more and more. Yeah, these two things you should continuously do. Yeah. The third thing that I wanted to share is why I decided to today, float this around, was that like the first time the knowledge happened, it did not, I put in effort, but it happened to me in some sense. For 3 days, I was just reading, and then next thing I know, I'm reading charts. Yeah. Similar thing happened with the when the coronavirus thing started, the planetary positions moved in such a way that I started feeling a lot of knowledge coming to me. And I know it sounds a little blue starish, but honestly speaking, this is what happened, and I am just sharing what happened. So I felt like I am in a state now to share some of this knowledge. I felt a lot of times, my friends had shared that why don't you share knowledge and all of that of Jyotish. I have never taken the opportunity, but I just felt the time is right because I felt very confident. So I started, this entire initiative. Yeah. So that's as far as the basics are concerned. Now, in terms of logistics, I think we will be doing 2 classes. I said it wrote 3 in the message, but I think 2 will be good enough per week on Wednesday and Sunday. And we'll see how the structure works out. I will be recording all the classes and sharing the recordings on the WhatsApp group. If you're not added onto the WhatsApp group, I'll share the link. Yeah. And we'll slowly learn. We'll see how the class today goes, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah. Perfect. Having said that, a perfect Jyotish would have looked at the timing for today also and said that, oh, if the time is right today, should I kind of do the class today or not? I did not, because I just felt intuitively it was the right time to start sharing. So I just declared the class and we started. Okay. So I welcome you all. And I think those of you who were on the chat, I had asked 2 questions. I'm just going to open those questions up. 1 second. So I'm going to basically unmute everyone, and anyone who'd like to share an answer for the first question. What do you think is Bhagya? Anyone? Or I'll have to call up people one by one. Okay. What do you think is Bhagya? You can even type in the chat. Yeah.
Comes to us by birth.
Sorry?
What comes to us by birth? Like at birth, whatever we have, and what happens through the events through somebody else.
Okay. Whatever comes to us by birth. Very nice. What else?
In fact,
yeah. Ashmita?
It's a karma fall also. Bhagya also, we create karma. With our efforts, we create our own bhagya. It's both free will and, Gurudev says, no, free will and this one. Grace of the master also.
Okay. So free will and grace of the master. Very nice. You can talk loudly.
It's a carryover for whatever done. So
it is a carryover for whatever we have done.
Yeah, prarabdh.
Prarabdh.
Yeah.
prarabdha is one.
Bhagya in English means what? Destiny, no? So what does it mean in English?
So this is beautiful. Actually, there are some words in Sanskrit that don't have a translation, exact translation, right? Even Bhagya is a Hindi word. The real word is Dev. They say Dev. That is what is said, right? So is everything fixed fundamentally? Is that what it is? I bring something with me when I am born, like Vineet was saying, right? And then that becomes fixed. And that becomes my bhagya. Is that it?
Yes, no, that there is a bit of evil and little bit of destiny. So with our efforts, some part of it probably we can change, or the impact of certain things diminish. Maybe.
Eventually,
There is a part of free will and there is a part of destiny, and both combined together is how life progresses, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A person who is in spiritual path, his bhagya is keep on changing. I heard somewhere from Gurudev, sometime from Gurudev, if the person who is in spiritual path, his bhagya is keep on changing.
So very true, right? So a person who is in spiritual path, his bhagya keeps on changing. That's true, right? But I'm still fundamentally asking that question. What is that bhagya? It is that fixed set of things that are going to happen to you. Is that bhagya? When something bad happens to us, Gauri has given a very nice answer to it. It is the GPS of our life, how events will take place. So Gauri, my question is the GPS fixed? Because when I put in, I want to go from here to point A to point B in the GPS, it gives me a definitive path. And then if I follow that path, I'll continue along that path.
No, it's not fixed.
It is not fixed. Okay, so it is all. So then, what is the need for Jyotish? Where does the need for Jyotish arise?
What I basically feel, my view about Jyotish is that karmas are not bad beings; they are good beings. They are reflection of our karmas.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, when I'm born, the planetary positions are such like they reflect my karmas of the past birth, and then there are remedies for that. So I am basically the believer that I am the creator of my own destiny. So working on my subconscious mind, my inner negative beliefs, I can create what I want.
Okay, I'm going to ask everyone to mute. Please to talk, please unmute yourself. Huh? Yeah. So very nice answer, huh? Guru. The fact that um, there is, I am the creator of my own destiny, right? That is bhagya. Yeah. Okay. So we will, if we start off a class on Jyotish with Yoga Vasishtha, will it be inappropriate?
I think it will be perfect.
Yeah. So I'm going to read a few shlokas from the Yoga Vasishtha. Yeah. Devam namna kinchana devam na vidyate devam satsada devam na kinchit kurute kevalam kalpane drishi मूढ़े प्रकल्पितं देवं तत्परास्ते क्षयं गतः प्राज्ञासु पौरुषार्थेन पदमुत्तमतां गतः न च निस्पन्दता लोके दृष्टेः श्वतां विनः. So the first sloka goes like Devam Nam Na Kinchana. Dev Bhagya Kuch Nahi Hai. There is nothing called Bhagya. That is the first sloka. Devam Na Vidyate. Dev hai hi nahi. There is no existence. So first he says Devam Nam Na Kinchana. Dev Bhagya Kuch Nahi Hai. Then he says Devam Na Vidyate. There is no existence of that. What are you talking? Devam Sat Sada. Devam Asat Sada. Meaning that Dev Sada hi Asat hai. It is always untrue. Yeah. Devam na kinchit kurute kevalam kalpane drashi. Dev कभी कुछ नहीं करता, यह केवल कल्पना मात्र ही है. It is mere imagination that there is something called bhagya. Yeah. First he says no, there is nothing. Then he says that it does not exist. Then he says that it is a mere imagination. Yeah. Moode prakalpitam devam. Moode means fools. Moode prakalpitam devam. The fools, they conjure up something called bhagya. Tatparaste kshayam gata. Tatparaste. After that, raste is path. They follow the path of kshayam gata. Kshayam is honey. It's loss. After that, देवमूठ लोगों की कल्पना है, इस कल्पना के भरोसे रहकर वे नाश को प्राप्त होते हैं. They basically go towards what? They go towards pain and suffering. They go towards absolute dissolution. नाश के लिए हिंदी वर्ड क्या होगा? English word I am not able to think, but it is complete dissolution. Yeah. Destruction. Absolutely. Yeah. So we are all fools, huh? We have joined together to do an astrology class, Jyotish class. Yeah, that is what Yoga Vasishtha is saying. I am not saying that. Yeah. Then what does he say? Prajnasu paurusharthena padamuttamatam gata. प्राज्ञासु पौरुषार्थेन. बुद्धिमान लोग पुरुषार्थ के द्वारा उन्नति के पथ पर अग्रसर होते हैं. People who are intelligent, so he says the people who are foolish, they believe in Dev, they believe in Bhagya. People who are intelligent, they believe in what? Purusharth. Purusharth means in English self-effort. They put in all their effort to get what they want. Yeah. So then why study Jyotish? Interesting, no? Why study Jyotish if there is no need for all of us to gather together, no need. Yeah, we close the class. So before we learn something as deep as Jyotish, what is very important for us is to realize the importance of Jyotish and its relevance. Yeah. This class we will try. So I did not share one more reason why I started learning Jyotish. Before 2014, I had gone through a lot of difficulties in my life. And every Jyotish I would, and when do you turn towards Jyotish? You don't turn towards Jyotish when you are very happy. Yeah. When everything is going perfectly, you're like, on top of the world, you don't turn towards a Jyotish. Anyone who does that, unko naman hai. Yeah. You turn towards Jyotish when things are not going right. Yeah. And I met so many Jyotishis. And every time I would meet them, they would bias my mind. They would tell me stuff which would be inherently negative, that would take me down, that your life is not set. You are going to. So one of the Jyotish, when I had a little bit of a hiatus in my job, told me that, you know what, you will, tum aajeevan dhakke khaoge. You will be struggling through your entire life. And imagine a 22-year-old listening to this, quite a respected person, and you're like, what is going to happen with me? But and then I felt extremely low at that point of time, that what is going on. So I decided to learn this. Yeah. So it is important that before we start learning something like this, we know the power of that knowledge that we are learning, right? And knowing that Purusharth sits on top of all of this. Yeah. So there is, with that, I will touch a little bit on karma, and then we will get into a little bit more Jyotish. So it is very true that there is nothing called Dev or Bhagya. There is nothing called fortune. What is Dev or Bhagya? What is fortune? Is nothing but karma that we have done in our past life. That is it. That is what Dev or Bhagya is. That is what that which we define as destiny is. Right? Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, there are 3 types of karma that are expounded. Yeah, 3 different types of karma are expounded. The first is Sanchit karma. So Sanchit karma is nothing. It is the collection of all the karma that I have done till date. आज तक मैंने जो भी किया है, whatever I have done, good, bad, ugly, amazing, all of that put together in a large basket is called Sanchit karma. Yeah, that is what is Sanchit karma. Now, what is Prarabdh? Someone used the word Prarabdh. What is Prarabdh? Prarabdh is what I bring in this life. When I come in this life, what I am bringing with me, that is Prarabdh. Prarabdh is almost like I have to travel from, say, Bangalore to Delhi, and I have decided that I will go via Pune or I will go via Indore. So Indore is going to come in the path. So the nature has decided that Indore will certainly be on the path. Yeah, that is Prarabdh. Yeah, and that is one of the indications that we get from our astrological charts, that, oh, this person is going to go from point 1 to point 2 in the interim. So he is going to travel from Bangalore to Delhi. On the way, he is going to stop in Indore. That stop is going to come. Yeah, that is Prarabdh. Right? The third type of karma is the Agami karma. The best way to visualize Agami karma is that I have a bow and an arrow. So in the back, you must have seen there is a quiver, right? I have loads of arrows in the back. That is my Sanchit karma. Now I have taken out an arrow and I have pulled the bowstring and left it. Now the arrow which is left is Prarabdh. The arrow is gone. I can't change it. Yeah, that is Prarabdh. But the arrow that I am holding on to right this moment and just about to leave it, that is Agami karma. That is something which will become karma in a little while. That will become my Prarabdh in a little while. Yeah. So what does Jyotish tell you? Jyotish tells you 2 distinct things. It tells you, a part of it tells you about your Prarabdh. What is it that you have brought in this life? Some joys and some miseries, something in the path that I have to go to Indore, that has come from my past karma, which is what Dev is, right? All the Purusharths that I did in my previous life put together, past karma, that forms my Sanchit karma. I take all of that. From that, in Jyotish, you get an indication of, oh, this is my Prarabdh. And this is my, you also get an indication of, this is my sanchit karma. This is what my total baggage of karma is like. And this is what my prarabdha is like. So when you look at an astrological chart, you are able to figure out that, oh, these certain events are going to happen. There is a good likelihood that these events will happen. And then you are also able to figure out, oh, these events are going to be very unlikely. And also that this mind may have a tendency to think like this. This mind may have a tendency to be, this person may have a tendency to be good with a particular thing or bad with a particular thing, because that accumulated purusharth is all together. Yeah, that is what Jyotish in essence is. Fair? Interesting? Yeah? New interpretation of Jyotish? For how many of you it is new? You can, okay, great. So that is what the planets tell us. So planets are a way of, it is like a code. One of my friends, he used to joke when I was in college that, if God had to give you this knowledge, why did he even create something like Jyotish? He should have just written it down and given it to you, or he should have made it obvious. But they say gahano karmano gati, right? The ways of karma and the ways of the creator are bizarre. That way, Gurudev always says, right, that God is such a bad businessman, right? Every spring new leaves come, and every autumn they shed away. What is the need for all these cycles, right? So that is how God works. He has his own, the creator, the creation, the laws of nature, whatever you want to call it. If you are a non-believer in God, just the rules of nature, the rules of how we exist, right? So the whole theory of karma is very elegant. It is like physics, that you have a law, that one of the laws of Newton is what? That action and reaction are equal and opposite. That is same as the law of karma. Whatever purusharth I do, I will get the results of that. It is going to happen, absolutely going to happen, right? So that is what, how karma is, right? And Jyotish gives you a peek into that, right? I'm just going to take a break for a second. I need to put a charger on my laptop. Okay. So now if everyone is happy with this, then can we start the journey of learning a little bit about planets? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. One last warning that I would share with everyone. I know when we learn Jyotish, there is an eagerness to look at your own chart and look at everyone else's chart, right? Make sure that be patient with it. Yeah. This knowledge comes in its own time. It takes its own time. Once you feel absolutely mature to understand the knowledge and understand the concepts, that is when you should touch your own chart. Yeah. It's something that you have to do. Good thing with us is that we have the protection of the guru. Yeah. With someone who's learning Jyotish in a Rajasic manner, that protection is not there. But I would urge, because what will happen? The problem with this is that a lot of interpretations that we will draw about our prarabdha may be incorrect. And then it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. In our mind, we will think that this is how my life is going to evolve, or this is how things are going to be. And then that is something that will that will start happening. We don't need to get into that cycle. Yeah. So we will look at our charts. We will look at charts of people here. I will try to do one-on-one sessions with people also, but let's try not to look at our charts immediately till we reach a particular level where we feel confident. Yeah. Fine. Okay. Good. Good. Perfect. So with that, we are going to start looking at a little bit about understanding a little bit about Jyotish. And I think almost everyone would know that there are 9 planets. Anyone here who does not know that there are 9 planets? Yeah. And there are 12 Rashis. There are 12 and there are 27 nakshatras. That maybe everyone doesn't know. 27 nakshatras, right? Yeah. So at any point of time, whatever is happening on this planet is in some sense governed by the position of all these planets, right? Now, on this, there is some Shraddha that is required. Yeah, there is no rigorous mathematical proof that I have to offer saying that why the moon affects us in a particular way, or why the position of the sun in that particular Rashi affects us in that particular way. On that, I have no proof to offer, but one has to have a little bit faith. Yeah. But the way the rishis have cognized all of Jyotish is that they have looked at thousands and thousands. Actually, they have downloaded the knowledge and given some basic principles, and then Jyotishis over the years, over the centuries, have looked at various charts, one chart after the other. They have looked at all these charts and they have validated those principles. Yeah, like Mars in Cancer behaves this way, Mars in Capricorn behaves this way. Yeah, so all of these have been sort of validated by a lot of Jyotishis. Yeah, and in your journey, once you start looking at charts, once you start looking at your own chart, that or once you start looking at what is going on right now, you will automatically start feeling, yeah, there is some correlation between these things. Yeah. Okay. Amit has asked, how is then astrology applicable beyond an individual to a place or country or planet? So the best answer is that beyond an individual, what is happening right now, a lot of it can be explained by what is going on, the current movement of planets, what is going on, right? And the more we delve into it, the better, deeper insights we will get. But we will get into it slowly and slowly. Once we are, once we are proficient, we will get into what is the Gochar. That is called the Gochar. Where the planets are currently, it's called the Gochar. We will get into the Gochar also. Yeah. So first, let's just go through all the planets. I'm going to ask you guys to unmute yourself and you can share, speak freely. So we will start off with the, I think you joined late. Why study astrology when we have no control on it? I think we discussed this quite a lot in detail. So maybe you can watch through the recording, but I'll still try and answer that question, why we should study astrology. It is important. Like I said, astrology, there is nothing called bhagya. It is just the purusharth, that the self-effort that I have done in my previous life. Now what happens is, in this life, when I am going through particular things in my life, there are certain things that I am not able to explain to myself. Yeah. Like, for example, in this particular aspect of my life, again and again, I fail. Even though I put in so much effort, I fail. So that, to prevent your mind from getting stuck to that one point, Jyotish helps you. It makes you free, knowing that, oh, this is my prarabdha. The other thing, which is very important, is my mind may have certain tendencies. A particular mind may be inclined towards one thing, a particular mind may be inclined towards another thing, right? Knowing that my mind has an inclination, that is an indication of my sanchit karma. And I can actually, by knowing that this is how my mind will behave, I can actually win over it. The first thing that we do when we meditate, right, is to become aware of our tendencies, right? So if you remember the Panchakosha meditation that we do in the first thing in our happiness program, the first is we become aware of the environment. The second is we become aware of our body. The third is we become aware of our thoughts. Now my thoughts are in a certain pattern. I know that every time this happens, this kind of event happens, my thoughts will move in this pattern. And my thoughts keep moving in that pattern, keep moving in that pattern. Knowing that my thoughts are moving in that pattern, are being caused by this planet, I can win over it. So it is not a study of fatalism. It is actually the study of extreme self-effort. Knowing that this is my prarabdha, this is something that I will have to go through, and this is the tendency of my mind, and I can win over it. And this is happening because of this planet. Knowing that is very, very powerful. I can then do remedies related to that planet. I can chant. I can figure out that energy. Where is that energy coming from? And that is the next thing that we need to understand. We need to first thing. So I hope that answers your question, Sandeep. So I'm going to go now into the 9 planets, right? The first planet, or the first, this is probably a graha. It's not planet, but the first graha that we will talk about is the sun.
Sun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll talk about the sun. Okay. So, tell me, what do you feel about the sun? What is the sun? What is the sun energy?
Hot.
Hot. Yes.
Pitta.
Pitta. Yes.
Source of energy and most powerful graha.
Ah, yes, the source of energy, right?
Dynamism.
Sun is traditionally in a chart associated with the source of prana. A strong sun means that the person has strong prana shakti. What else does the sun signify? Where is the sun placed vis-a-vis all the other planets? Where is it? Is it in the
Center. Center.
Right. It is right at the center. Yeah. So, and what does it do? Sitting at the center, what does it do? It controls the
9 planets.
All other planets.
all the planets, right? All the planets are revolving around that, right? So what is the sun inherently? He's the boss, right? So inherently, what does the sun do? It is the center of all the planets. It controls the motion of all the planets, right? So it is essentially, what is it doing? It is the boss.
Coordinating and the entire all the other planets.
Yes. So what does it? What energy does it signify? The administrative energy. What is the role of administration?
Controlling.
Controlling the movement, bringing in that order, right? That entirely is the role of administration, right? So that is what sun does. What else does the sun do? It nourishes, provides everyone energy. Yeah.
Yes.
What will happen when I start controlling too much? What is the feeling that I get? Now, if I look at the solar system as a microcosm of my, Acha, anyone here who has not done the happiness program? Anyone here who's not done the happiness program? Everyone's done the happiness program, no? Because there's a lot of happiness program and advanced course knowledge. Anyone here who's not done the advanced course?
Yeah, I think there are 1 or 2 people who've not done the advanced course.
Okay, so I'm going to use a lot of happiness program knowledge for sure. Maybe advanced course knowledge in some way or form I'll be sharing. But happiness program knowledge, I'm going to use a lot of it. Yeah. So we say, no, there are 7 layers of our existence.
Yeah.
In that, what do you think? Which layer of our existence will be associated with the sun? It is the center, right at the center. It is giving me identity.
Self. Ego and the self, maybe.
So it is very subtle. It's very beautiful. It's right, actually. Sun is where the energy of the self is coming from. Yeah, we say that sun is where the energy of the self is coming from. And then there is a light shadow on top. Avaran jisko bolte hai na, there is a covering on top of it. Yeah, that covering is called that covering is called the ego. Yeah. So the sun in some sense represents our ego. It also represents the light of the self, but it also represents our ego. Yeah? So that is what sun represents in our chart, right? And the energy that it carries. Now tell me, when you look around, where do you find this energy? So what happens in the planet, no? There are particular people, particular situations, and particular places where particular energies are abundant. A particular planet's energy is abundant. So what people do you think the sun's energy is in abundance?
More successful, and they are very energetic also.
Power positions, I think they hold, probably.
So the government, CEOs, yes, Nikita. The government, CEOs, they have the energy of the sun behind them. Yeah. They have the administrative power. They have the energy of the sun behind them. Yeah. Right. These are the kind of people who have the energy. Anywhere in a group, you find someone is taking sort of leadership, right? Who's at the center of things. Ha. So piche se, that's the energy of the sun is shining. Yeah. We can see that the energy of sun is shining. Yeah. Also amongst people who are elder in their family who take a lot of responsibility, the energy of sun shines. The head of the family. Around the head of the family, the entire family revolves, right? They also carry the energy of the sun. Yeah. Then also in your father, where is all the energy that is coming from? It is coming from our fathers, right? From our parents, ancestors, grandparents, and so on and so forth, right? That entire lineage, that is also represented by the sun. Yeah, that is as far as people are concerned. Now, what kind of places do you think there is a lot of sun energy? What will be the places where you go and you feel, oh, there is so much sun energy here?
Near equator.
Near equator, yes. Have you been to a sunny beach? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I think when we are in when we are in touch with some spiritual masters like Guruji, so I believe there is some energy. So I think
वहां तो सब एनर्जी आती है भाई. When you go and get in touch with a spiritual master, all the 9 planets are there bowing down in front of their master, and all the 9 planets you will find just revolving around there. Even the sun is revolving there. That is the energy. Even the sun is getting its energy from the self, right? The universe's energy, the fundamental energy of the universe is manifesting through the sun, whose energy is then manifested in all the different planets, right? Because all the planets are part of the sun. They broke away from the sun, right? But that energy with the guru is that fundamental energy, right? That around him, so all the different energies then are there. Yeah.
Inspirational talk.
Where there is a lot of inspirational talk. Is that the
places? No, in the
places?
Places.
Hmm.
Places there will be green land, green place.
Yes, my father, see, he's also attending this. So he said very correctly, where there is a lot of greenery. How does greenery come from? Where does greenery come from? Plants. They carry the energy of the sun. Yeah.
Amazon rainforest.
Amazon rainforest. Forests, yes. Forests carry the energy of the sun.
Even a green lawn nearby also.
A green lawn also carries the energy of the sun, but I want you to hold on to that thought. I will tell you what other energies also influence. A forest is not influenced by any other energy. It is just the sun and one more energy, this energy of Saturn. I'll tell you why it is influenced by the energy of Saturn. But yes, a forest is influenced by the energy of the sun. Yeah. And why a forest? A forest, if it is left sort of, and sun is also administration. I said sun is also rules, right? The right rules. So when a forest is left untouched, it is a self-fulfilling ecosystem. Yeah, Nikita has just written natural ecosystem. It is a self-fulfilling ecosystem. Why? Because that energy of the sun abounds, so the rules are followed. The moment man enters and breaks that down, that cycle gets broken down. Yeah, right? Now, so that is as far as, so amongst people, it is in administrators, in the government, in people who are holding power, in fatherly figures. This is where amongst people, the energy of sun abounds. Amongst areas, it is in forests, in green areas, in places with a lot of greenery, that sun abounds.
Where there is fire.
Where there is fire is a little tricky. I'll tell you what. There's another planet who's responsible for fire.
Mars.
Yes. Yes. Mars is the planet which is responsible for fires, and also sun. Both of them are, but sun is fundamentally, there is a controlled fire, and Mars is uncontrolled fire. And then Rahu, and we'll come to that slowly, step by step. Yeah. So that is the energy of the sun, right? Now, the third thing that we have not discussed is what kind of animals do you think the energy of sun abounds? Who is the
Lion.
Lion,
Lion.
lion, tiger, or something ferocious. जो aggressive है.
It is not necessarily aggressive. Huh? Aggression comes from some other planet. Sun is the center of the entire planetary system. It is also the top of the food chain. Yeah, all the organisms that sit on top of the food chain. Who are that? They, lion, tiger, leopards. All of them are on the top of the food chain, right? So all of them in the ocean, if we have to figure out the energy of the sun, not whales. The top of the food chain is shark.
Cow, guy.
Guy is not top of the food chain, no? That is also the energy of the sun. Okay. Fair? Okay, so that is as far as sun is concerned now. Okay, now we have time only for one more planet today. We'll finish that and then we will continue the rest in the next one. The second planet that we will talk about after the sun, we can talk about the next planet in the planetary solar system, but we will talk about a different graha. Which one should we talk about? Moon.
Shani, Saturn.
No, we'll talk about the moon. Moon. So what is the moon?
Beauty. Calmness.
Moon represents, what does moon represent, do you think?
किसी और की वजह से वो चमक रहा है, सूरज की वजह से वो चमक रहा है, उसकी खुद की कोई रोशनी नहीं है.
तो हमारा जो मन होता है, our mind, you know, we have we say there are 7 layers of our existence, right? In that the self, we define that self-effulgent, that energy is the sun, and then the ego, that covering is the sun, right? But all our, because we have an ego, yeah, again we will discuss a little bit about this maybe in the 3rd or 4th lecture. We will go through the Yoga Vasishtha Utpatti Prakaran. There things will become a little clearer on how sun relates to that. Because there is ego, what happens? The mind gets created. Likes and dislikes get created. The mind is, moon does not shine on its own. You are right, has no energy of its own. But the sun's energy is reflected through the moon. Yeah? And that is the mind. That is what are our emotions? That is represented by the mind. Yeah? So moon represents basically the mind. Yeah? That faculty of us is represented by the moon. Yeah? And after that, if you look at the solar system as a huge, in some sense, try to find symbolism. Right at the center is the sun, and the moon is the closest to us in terms of the physical woe. And the 7 layers, what is the next level? Body, breath, and then the next level is what? The mind, right? That is the next layer of our existence, where all the emotions stay. Yeah? So that is what it represents in the chart. The moon represents the mind in the chart. Yeah? It also represents the mother. Yeah? Our mind is it's a reflection of how our upbringing has been. Moon also represents, to some extent, the position of moon also represents how our childhood has been. Yeah? The mother, that's how our childhood has been, and the mind. All of this is reflected by the moon. Yeah? What do you think in terms of what are the places where this energy would be reflected, or what kind of people do you think this energy would be reflected in? Like we said, amongst administrators, the energy of the sun abounds, right? What kind of what kind of people would this energy abound?
Nurses and care workers.
Nurses and care workers. Preeti just shared mother and motherly figures. Moon energy would be there. Where else?
Doctors also.
Yes, particular types of doctors. Yes, there is certainly a moon energy in them.
Social workers, social service like NGO and all.
Yes, yes. People who are fundamentally taking care of other people, the moon energy is there, right?
Artists also. Artists.
Artists is an interesting one. Artists not necessarily, not 100%. Yeah.
Art of living teachers.
Anyone, so that I said, yes, agreed. So anyone who's taking care of someone, there that energy will be there. Yeah. Musicians, not so much. Musicians are governed by some other planet. Yeah. Musicians, moon is that you know, that warmth that is taking care of you, that sort of all the, so that is the kind of people. And you can keep, you know, when you meet people, you see what energy is in a
Friends.
friends also is a different energy. Friends, if there is a motherly friend or a person who's taking care of you, loves to
Healers. Healer.
healers, yes, healers have a lot of the moon energy. Yeah.
Counselors?
Hmm?
Counselors.
Counselors. Okay, what kind of places do you think moon energy abounds in?
Goa, Kerala,
Rivers.
River, lakes, wherever there is water.
side.
Yeah, wherever there is a lot of water, the moon energy, and that is obvious, right? It is very clearly related. We know that the moon causes tides, right? And in the mind also, ups and downs happen because of the tides that happen, right? So that is the energy of the moon, right? Forests is the energy of the sun largely. Sun, yeah, Nikita. Milk is of course the energy of the moon. Yeah. What else?
Cow also. Cow.
Cows, yes, represents nourishment, right? So it's the energy of the moon. Yeah.
Thailand, sorry, all the water intensive countries and places.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the second. Now, what kind of animals do you think? We've said cows,
Dog.
dog, nourishment? No.
Mammals in general.
I think cows, buffaloes, all the animals that are known for nourishment, no, they have a lot of the moon energy in them. Yeah. Fair. So we have done sun and we have done moon. Okay. So there are 7 more planets still to go. Yeah. For today we have exhausted the time. Yeah. So what I would suggest is just once you can read through a little bit about the 7 planets and start seeing where is that energy in abundance. Yeah. Which part is the energy in abundance. Yeah. That will give you an idea of all the different planets and their functions. Yeah. What they control in our life. So the sun controls our ego and the moon controls our mind. Yeah. Yeah. And the sun represents the father in the chart and the moon represents the mother in the chart. Mother and motherly figures. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Can I ask you a question?
I have a
Yes.
question.
Hi, I joined a little late. I had another session before. आपने बोला कि sun की energy forest में होती है. Then there are places, countries which have a lot of forest. For example, Germany has a lot of forest, but there is not in the sense so much of sun itself, because 6 months it's kind of winter. So can it be said that these places have more sun energy? Even though sun physically is not there, but it is covered with forest?
Within that entire landmass of Germany, and we will talk about karma of countries and karma of cities, right? And how we look at charts of countries and how we look at charts of cities. But within that entire country, if there is a particular area where the energy of sun abounds, that is in forests. The energy of sun abounds within Germany. If you go and say that, oh, I want to go to a place where there's a lot of energy of the sun present, yes, in forests within Germany, yes, there is a lot of.
That would be forest, even though if it is cold or whatever. Okay. Very interesting to know. Okay, thank you.
I have a question too.
Yeah.
So you said sun controls the ego,
Sun represents the ego.
but sun represents the self, no?
See, the self per se needs no representation. the self is without any attributes. Would you ascribe an attribute to the self? What attribute can you say about the self? It is nirbhav, nirvair, akal murk. It's timeless. It's without any shape, without any form. Right? The energy of the self reflects through the ego. That is what the feeling of I is. When the first time the feeling of I comes, and this will become clearer when we go through the Utpatti Prakarana of Yoga Vasishtha. Yoga Vasishtha and Jyotish are kind of very linked with one another. So we'll keep referring to Yoga Vasishtha, keep reading stories on the Yoga Vasishtha or the Srimad Bhagavad Puran in between to get deeper into the yeah. But so in just briefly explaining this, what we say, and again this is from the Yoga Vasishtha, that first there is the nameless, formless, infinite, right? In that there is a wave that rises. That wave gets the form of that wave gets the feeling of I-ness. That I-ness is ego, right? So that is what the sun represents in your chart. That
Yeah,
I
because,
ego.
yeah, in one of the session, Ashutosh Bhaiya mentioned that sun represents. So it could be that if the sun is strong, that is how the ego, like.
Yeah. So however the sun is, maybe the sun is placed in a very bad place, then the ego is misformed. If the sun is placed in a very nice place, the person's ego is very, if the sun is a high degree, we will talk about degrees of the planet. That means that the soul, this person has gone through a lot of lives already. Yeah, all those things you can discern from that. Yeah? Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. We'll chant Om 3 times before we finish. And then we'll finish. Jai Gurudev. Okay, I will put the recording on the chat, and then the next class we will do on Wednesday. Wednesday evening is good, no? So 2 classes we'll do every week. One on Wednesday evening, one on Sunday evening. This time, yeah, yeah.
Can you also share the Yoga Vasishtha shloka in the WhatsApp group?
I will do that as well. Yes, I will take but it is in Hindi for those who can't read Hindi. Someone can post the English translation. Yeah. Thank you. Jai Gurudev. See you guys. Bye.
Thank you very much, Gurudev.